Love day, and love day once again. What's up, 23% Nation? It's your man, Coach D. And guys, I'm bringing you Love Day Coach D's tips. Now, here's the interesting part. I'm going to give you two sets of tips. The first set is for the random acts of kindness for a stranger. And then the second group of tips are going to be for your acts of self-love. And very quickly, allow me to remind you that you are a 13% vegan. So eat more plants. Now that we've given our introduction, let's dive a little deeper into Coach D's tips. Tip number one, and remember, we're talking about tips for our random acts of kindness for strangers. Tip number one, be prepared for rejection. That's right, guys. You got to understand something, that generally speaking, strangers are probably not going to receive you very well, especially if you're coming from a very high emotional frequency, that of love. So if someone rejects your random act of kindness, please don't get upset, don't get mad, don't get pissed off, and definitely don't try to force it upon them. Just simply move on to the next person. But Coach D is here to let you know that yes, some people will reject love. Tip number two, be flexible. Have a plan B, maybe even a plan C. Once again, everyone loves differently, and you are interacting with a stranger. So, if your first stranger doesn't work out, then find a new stranger. Trust me, there are tons and tons of strangers that are out there. Okay? So, if the first one doesn't pan out, probably the second one will. Tip number three, don't force it. Remember to love. Now, I have actually been rejected when attempting to perform a random act of kindness for a stranger. Now, yes, I did try to force it on them, but when I took a step back and I came back to my center, I understood that not everybody loves the same way. So I went elsewhere. So once again, don't force your love upon anyone. Those who are receptive to love will definitely receive you very, very well. But once again, don't force it. Remember to be loving. Tip number four. Now remember, you are performing your random acts of kindness for a stranger. So go alone or go with someone who is supportive. In other words, try not to go with someone, and it doesn't matter who that someone is. It could be your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your husband or your wife, your mom or your dad, or your best friend. If they're the type of person who's telling you no, stop, and don't do these random act of kindness acts for a stranger, then you need to separate yourself from that type of person. You need to go with someone who is going to support you, someone who's going to motivate you, someone who's going to make sure that you complete your random acts of kindness. Tip number five, cast away any feelings of shyness, embarrassment, or worry. Remember, it's Love Day, so be willing to love. I do understand that some of us are suffering from low self-esteem, low self-confidence. I get it, but at the same time, we must step outside of our comfort zone. And the best way to do that is to cast away any feelings of shyness, embarrassment, worry, fear, guilt, and shame. Tip number six, set aside at least 1 hour per act. Now, yes, some acts may take a few minutes. Some acts may take more than a few minutes. Whatever the case may be, you definitely want to give yourself enough time so that you are fully involved in your random act of kindness for a stranger. Please do not hurry this situation. Make sure you are able to manage your time very wisely, therefore allowing you enough time to dedicate to your random act of kindness. Okay, so those were Coach D's top 6 tips for a random act of kindness for a stranger. Now let's talk about Coach D's tips for self-love. And very quickly, yes, you are still a 13% vegan. All right, tip number 1 for self-love. Watch the movie The Secret. Now, I've already touched upon this, that many, if not all, of the concepts that are discussed in the movie The Secret are in some way, shape, or form incorporated into the 23% challenge. That being said, watch the movie. It'll give you a stronger foundation from which the 23% challenge is built upon. And probably, just probably, if you watch the movie first, you engaging in your acts of self-love will be much, much easier. Tip number 2, let's manage our time wisely. So set aside at least 1 hour per act. So here's a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. Are you worth at least 1 hour of your own time? Certainly you are. So please set aside at least 1 hour per act. Now, let's quickly remember you have to perform at least 2 acts of self-love. Therefore, you need to set aside at least 2 hours. Tip number 3. Focus on the joy, the bliss, and the excitement of whatever it is you're doing, okay? Now remember, Coach D is providing you with several different ways to show yourself a little more self-love. So while you are performing your acts, regardless of what it is, focus on your feelings. Focus on vibrating at a high emotional frequency. Allow the love to flow in and flow out. Tip number 4. Don't stop at 2 acts, keep going. Remember, it's self-love. So if you enjoy the love that you're giving to yourself, then please continue to do more. Okay? It's very, very simple. Tip number 5. Be open to receiving love from others. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta understand something. When you show love to yourself, that opens up a window. It opens up a door so that others can love you as well. So if someone pays you a compliment on Love Day, then receive that. In other words, smile and say thank you. That's how we receive love from others. Tip number 6. Go alone or with someone who is supportive of your choices. Now, remember, we're talking about self-love. Love directed towards the self, directed towards you. So, if it's feasible, go alone and perform your acts of self-love. If you're the type of person who must have someone with them, and there's nothing wrong with that, then just make sure that that person or that group of people is totally in sync with what you're doing. Now, in order to help you out with this, you probably want to let them know that, hey, I'm on a 7-day wellness program. It's called the 23% Challenge, and today is Love Day. So let people know what you're doing. That way, they're more likely to support and motivate you. Tip number 7. Read the testimonials. Once again, hundreds of people have participated in the 23% challenge successfully, and they have divulged their experiences. So read about them, learn from them. It's there for you. Tip number 8, trust the process. Now, I do understand that some of us may be a little resistant, a little hesitant to perform these acts of self-love. Well, if that's the case, then it's time for us to trust. Not only the process, but we have to learn how to trust ourselves. And believe it or not, performing at least one act of self-love will allow you to trust yourself more. You know, self-trust is an extension of self-love. So the more you love yourself, the more you'll trust yourself. The more you trust yourself, the more you'll trust others. Now, yes, this is definitely a process, meaning it may not happen overnight. It may take a series of days, a series of weeks, a series of months, or even a series of years in order for you to fully trust yourself. Therefore, Coach D wants to recommend that you not only perform the 23% challenge, specifically Love Day, once, but try it 2 times, try it 3 times, try it for a whole year, and I can almost guarantee that your level of trust, your level of love will definitely escalate. Tip number 9. Guys, I want to let you know that you are worthy. That's right. Remember, it's Love Day. So Coach D wants to let you know that you are worthy of love. Tip number 10. Watch all 10 self-love videos. Now, I have poured a lot of time, energy, and effort into these videos. So please do not let my time, energy, and effort go to waste. Watch the videos. They're not that long, and I do give you a lot of inside information, a lot of insight so that you understand the full meaning of Love Day. Tip number 11, understand your love language. Guys, here's something that you must understand, okay, for lack of a better word, is that every person loves differently. And chances are your love language is probably very similar to your learning style. So some of us may be visual lovers, some of us may be auditory lovers, some of us may be rewrite lovers, and others may be kinesthetic lovers. So what does that mean? Well, if you are a visual lover, chances are you like to see things that involve love, right? You may enjoy a romantic comedy. If you are an auditory lover, you may need to hear someone say to you, I love you. If you are a read-write lover, then you probably enjoy either writing love letters or reading love letters. And if you are a kinesthetic lover, then you probably are a very touchy-feely person. You love to give hugs, you love massages, you like the fact that you are doing something in order to either receive or show your love. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Understand your love language because chances are it's very similar, if not identical, to your learning style. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well. Let's feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. I'm signing out. And always remember, I love you. So take care and God bless.